Good morning, lovely people. So welcome to another episode of Chatterwitch Wednesday with me, Suze, Crystal Wolf, Suzanne. So what are we going to discuss today? So I feel like discussing the spiritual plateau and the spiritual seasons of our growth and stuff, because it's come up recently to my attention of a couple of people, and it just reminds me of my journey on my spiritual path and how so many times I came, and still obviously do, come to the plateau, and it's, I mean, now I find it a lot easier, and there are levels of the plateau as well. Now, I remember when I started out in an open circle group, and they taught us straight away that, you know, you have moments of, like, you just feel like you're flying and you're learning so much and you're growing, and you can feel you're growing, and, you know, you feel like you're turning into this butterfly full of spiritual knowledge and understanding and wisdom. And then at some point, everything seems to just stop, and you can physically feel it. So it feels like you are literally on top of a mountain, because you've risen, so you're up high, but you're on this level and there's just nothing happening. You feel almost like you've lost everything. And in some ways you have, because it's a bit like the fall. You're jumping, you've got to jump again off the cliff into the unknown, taking nothing really with you, because what you've learned is integrated, and what you don't need, you have to discard. So, and I remember him teaching us this about this plateau place, and I don't think you can understand it. I don't think you can get it with words. I think you have to, I'm going to say, endure it, because it is an endurance, because you just feel so lost and alone, and it's horrible. Yeah, I've, you know, over the years I've like reached it so many times and thought, oh my God. And then at some point, and I don't know when it clicked in, at some point I realised that how amazing the plateau is. Oh my God, that's my resting place. That's like, let me integrate everything I've done that's, you know, gone on before. Let me discard what I don't need. Let me move forward. But you don't seem to have the control to move forward. So you have to stay in it. So what I realised was that instead of it being an endurance, oh my God, I've got to stay there, I don't like it, you know, because let's face it, we all love the high flying, you know, feeling everything's great. There's not a person that doesn't love that energy when it's full and exciting. And that doesn't even necessarily mean in the spiritual context, you know, in life, when you know, you're on top of the world and you're feeling great and everything's going your way, and you know, it's lovely. And then, you know, you hit a bump or something happens and it brings you back down to earth, as they say. And I think it sort of does, because you're sort of in the higher energies. And, you know, we are meant to be here in our physical bodies. So in a way, that bump back down to reality is good. But instead of looking at the plateau as an endurance, instead of looking at it as part of your path that's gone wrong, it's not. It means actually you're on track. It means everything is great. It means that you've really learned some lessons. So you have to switch how you think about it. And when you get to it, you have to embrace it with as much love and stuff as you do when you're like flying high and everything's great. You got to go, oh yes, I'm in the plateau. That's great. That means I've learned some lessons. That means I've got to rest. That means I've got to let everything that I've done so far, that's the culmination of getting me to this point. Now I've got to be in the cocoon. Now I've got to, you know, from the caterpillar, I will eventually turn into the butterfly again. But, you know, it's not a process that can be rushed. It's all divine timing. You can't push your way through it. I used to fight it. I used to try and push my way through it. I used to try and read and I struggled. I used to try and meditate and I struggled. I used to, you know, instead of just sitting in it, I mean, you don't have to like really truly meditate, but you can just sit in silence and just embrace the energies and feel that cocoon sort of energy of, you know, of the caterpillar. And yeah, it does feel uncomfortable. I'm sure it feels uncomfortable for the caterpillar, doesn't it? You know, I'm sure it's not great in that cocoon, you know, as it's transmuting into a completely different, seems like a completely different creature, which it isn't. It is part of its whole transformation. I mean, the butterflies used so much in spiritual context of change and transformation, transmutation, and, you know, and it's so true. And again, the dragonfly's pretty much the same sort of thing as well. You know, that sort of real transformation energies. So yeah, so over the years, I realised that it was a fabulous place to be, and I stopped fighting it, and I would just sink into it, just really, really sink into it, be one with it, you know, and the difference that made. And it seemed to make my transformations as I came out, it seemed to make them stronger and better. I think when you're flapping around trying to fight and, you know, you don't want the change, and you don't like the fact that you're in this, you know, place that's, it's sort of very, it's like the Issa energy. I mean, every rune has like so many different facets to it. And a couple of the facets to Issa is stillness, which is beautiful, where you are literally just embracing that stillness, and it is just the most amazing place. Or there's stuckness, where you're stuck in it or frozen to the spot. You know, that could be a fear-based thing. So that, you know, but when you look at it, it's you gotta just go with that lovely energy of stillness. There's so much in our society about, you know, stillness, and you know, we've got, haven't we, we've got all the sayings of like couch potato, and you know, people that just sit around doing nothing are lazy. Everything's about work, doing. That isn't true. As human beings, we are not meant to be doing 24/7. There are some people that have more doing energy and some people that have less. If you look at human design, you know, generators are out there with all their energy generating, doing. But they still have to have down times to build up their reserves of that doing energy. Someone like me who's a projector, we don't have that sort of energy to do anyway. So my energy is quite different. So I am more of being in that stillness. But when we look outside into society and that, we can beat the shit out of ourselves if we are not doing because everyone else is doing, so I'm lazy, you know, what's the matter with me? I'm not out there doing. And it's not true at all. Now, when I was quite at the beginning of my journey, I found the I Ching, and I find the I Ching the most just, it's the most amazing book. And I mean, it's said to be anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 years old. So the wisdom in there is very ancient wisdom. And it is all about the seasons. It's all about how everything has its time. And you'll have things in there like, you know, if you've had good fortune, you know, make sure, so say you've won some money or something, you know, a lot of us would then take that money and we'd go and spend it because we've won it. So why not? Let's treat ourselves. It's great. Instead of thinking, yeah, but round the corner, there could be something. So what you do is you take some of the money and you think, right, I'm going to treat myself. And then you put some money aside for the rainy day. And it's true because eventually you'll go back round to the rainy day. So the whole point of having luck and fulfilled times is to save for the lesser times, because in the I Ching, you know, it's known that being a human being, and well, not even just being a human being, being in the world of the world, and how everything works, how the universe works. I mean, everything is divine timing. And, you know, season follows season, day follows day, night follows day, you know, day follows night. It just goes round and round and round in circles. And that's what happens with us. So on your spiritual path, you will have those times where you're in a winter phase where not a lot's happening, and maybe that's a time to meditate, maybe that's a time to contemplate, maybe that's the time to snuggle up and sit and read a book, and you know, you're gaining knowledge, you're gaining sage knowledge to carry on, and go into spring where you can start to put things into place, and then you get to like fruition in summer, and then it starts waning again. You know, look at the moon, it waxes and wanes to every, you know, 28 days you're going around a cycle. You only have to look at the universe, you know, the macrocosm out there. It's, you know, everything is in these seasonal fluxes and changes. So to get the most out of your spiritual growth and stuff is to really embrace those seasons. Now, our ancestors did it way more than us because they really did have to, you know, we get produce now that is out of season that may be coming from somewhere else in the world. And, you know, the ancestors didn't know that in the southern hemisphere, they were having summer while we were having winter. We know that now. So, you know, we're more aware. So we can tap into both those energies, which I think now happens because, you know, somewhere is always summer when we're in winter, and so all that energy is still there for us to tap into. So, but on the outside of us, when it's going, the seasons are going, so if we're like, now we're in like height of summer here in the UK, you know, it really is sort of that sort of time, June, July, August, and then we start going into the autumn months. And that's great. And you might feel more alive and more doing, and then you start to slow down. Now, that's great because you're connecting with the outer energies, the energies that are out in the universe, in the macrocosm that is out there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be in a summer phase with your spiritual path or in life. You know, you might be ending a job and you know, you've got to wait to start the new job. So that would be a winter phase. You'd be in that waiting, you know, to start. And then as you go into the new job, that would be spring, as you would, like, you know, stuff was starting to change. And then when you've been there a while, you'd be in the summer phase and stuff, and everything just goes like that, you know. And the spiritual path is more in a way attuned to that, because we have these phases, very specific phases, where we're studying, we're learning, then we're integrating, then we're changing, then we're moving. So we're constantly in these phases. And what you have to connect to is what phase you're in and embrace it, you know. But remember that there's a phase on the outside of you as well, so that's going on. So, you know, you might be in the opposite, and you can integrate and work between the outer and the inner. And you know, so like sometimes in the summer months, people are more out and about, aren't they? So maybe you don't want to be sitting at home when it's beautiful and sunny, and you want to get outside. So you're doing more human activities, you know, more like spending time with your family, going out and about, you know, sitting in a pub garden, having a chat and a laugh with your friends. So you may not want to be at home doing a ritual and stuff, and that's fine, you know, because the winter months are great for, you know, snuggling up, in autumn great for, you know, sitting with your books and reading. So it's, don't go against the rhythms and the cycles. Don't fight them. Don't try and make something work, you know, because you're just trying to push, you know, a rock upstream. You need to flow. You need to flow with the energies, and then looking at the times when you're plateauing, you know, it's like, well, don't worry about it, you know, just sit with that energy, you know, embrace it, go inward with it, you know, just let yourself transform into the butterfly, let all of that, you know, happen. And it may still be uncomfortable, that's absolutely fine, you know, if it is uncomfortable. But try and do things to make it more comfortable. I think fighting it makes it uncomfortable. I think if you really go with it, because that's what I've done for the last few years, I just embrace it. I celebrate it. And that's made a difference. Like, because we celebrate the good times, we celebrate everything that's lovely and wonderful. But, you know, we should celebrate the down times. It's very hard to celebrate the yucky times. But even that, you know, that is still part of the whole thing of nature. You know, there is times that are yucky. There is, you know, but if you've prepared in your good times, in, you know, the happier times, if you've stored up, you know, whatever it is, then, you know, you can go into that. You know, now I find the joy in the plateau. I find it joyful. I know that when I come out of it, it's going to be amazing. I have the plateau in my artwork as well, in my creative artwork. And me and my friend, we chat about the times in, because she's a creative and she makes lots of different things, and we've noticed that certain times of year are different crafts, different arts, so we might be more inclined to sit crocheting or knitting in the winter months, sewing and stuff like that. It seems to be more of that sort of energy, whereas the more pull out all your stuff and create and play and, you know, with your paints and all this, it seems to be more spring and summery time. So again, just embrace that energy, you know, just go into it, whatever energy you've got. I'm not saying go into like more negative times when things aren't great. You don't want to dive into the negative, do you? But again, you don't want to fight it a lot of the time, because you can't, a lot of stuff you can't change. You can only change your reactions to it, which is very, very important to do. But you know, we can't always change what's going on. Sometimes we can. Sometimes there's bits and pieces we can look at, and that's a reason not to go into the negative, because then we wouldn't be able to think of things that we can do to change a situation. Is there anything I can change? What part of it can I change? What can I do? What can I get someone else to do something to it? Can I, you know, you're much clearer then. So but that's embracing, you know, that energy, like storing up the good times. Because if you've stored up that energy of the good times, it's in your memory. It's in your, like, well, you know, I know times are going to get better. I know things are going to change. So I need to sort of step into that energy of that, because then that helps something to pass in a much easier way, because you're not struggling and fighting against it. So yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say today. I just wanted to come in and talk about the plateau and the seasons, and you know, just oh god, look like a baby cow, doesn't it? Yeah, just yeah, just, I don't know. But that was what came through to chat about today. So that's what I've done. So I'm sitting in my little book womb, and I shall be back tomorrow with the runic Thursday. We've gone into Feu today, so the rune of that summer rune, that rune of life force. It's such an amazing rune. I mean, that's just got such flowy energy. It's moving. It's, you know, I mean, it's known as the rune of cattle, movable wealth. I find the rune amazing. Like, it's very, very good on self-worth and looking at yourself and looking at what you are worth. And so you can use it to quite often look at boundaries and stuff like that as well, because you're looking at your worth and, you know, what you should receive and stuff. It's a fabulous rune. I love Feu. It's a cornfield. Again, it's that cycle, you know, it's that wheat growing in the field and then, you know, it being turned into produce, and then you know, it becomes waste and stuff. And it's just amazing, that cycle, you know, that whole cycle. So everything has these cycles, plants, animals, us, you know, I mean, our main cycle is birth and death. But we have rebirths. We have so many rebirths in life where we, you know, where it's change of a relationship, change of place, change of job. We have so many rebirths, and we have many, many, many rebirths on a spiritual path. We really do. It's never settled. It's always changing. We're always moving through so many different phases. So yeah, so that's me for today. Hope you get something from it. You know, and if you want to mention anything or talk in the chat, that's great. Yeah, hope you like it, and I shall be back tomorrow with Runic Thursday. Bye, love and blessings.